Hi, my name is Robin, and today we from Picture Instruments would like to show you why Warping Wheels is now the all-in-one color grading solution for you, especially with the update to version 3.0. With this plugin you can create professional looks directly in your video editing host. Even if you are not a color grading pro, Warping Wheels offer you far more possibilities than usual color wheels. So let's start. BJ will show you how it works.
I'm working with Warping Wheels in Premiere today. But after successful installation, you will find the plugin in After Effects and Final Cut Pro X under the Effects section as well. Like any other effect, you simply drag it onto the clip to apply it. After applying, all parameters appear listed in the effect settings. However, for intuitive operation, I recommend using the plugin's built-in user interface, which you open via this button. As a bonus, you can also work with Warping Wheels in Photoshop. The plugin can be found in the menu under Filter, Picture Instruments. The plugin can be used as a smart filter, so you can readjust effect settings after applying. But now, back to Premiere. How much time and effort does it take you to develop a new look? Too long? Then you'll love the Warping Wheels Look Generator. Just start pushing the dice button and the plugin will generate as many looks as you wish for color grading your footage. If you cycled through too fast, you can go backwards and forwards up to 10 looks using the undo and redo buttons. This look is a great starting point for a clip which I need in my next project. As such, I will save it directly as a preset. To do this, simply type a name into the preset field and click the disk icon. It is now saved. Of course, you can apply the presets across hosts. This means that if you save a preset in Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, or Final Cut Pro X, you can recall it in any of the other hosts. If you don't like the look of the preset, you can delete it right after loading it by clicking the trash can icon. Of course, you can also export the look as a lookup table using this button and thus build your own LUT library. With the round arrow, you can reset the entire plugin. This is especially useful in Photoshop, where all effects default to the last used settings when opened. Now, let's look at the individual controls in detail. As with the classic color wheels, you can use the master wheel to tint, saturate, desaturate, or change the brightness of the overall image. By dragging the control towards orange and adjusting the saturation and brightness slightly, I can create a warm look in no time. By the way, every single setting in the Warping Wheels can be reset by right-clicking on the corresponding element. With the controls in the wheels for shadows, mids, and highlights, you can tint the corresponding brightness range of the image. There is also a brightness slider for each area. So far, so good. Now, things get exciting. We have arrived at the functions that you might be unfamiliar with from other three-way color correctors. Let's take a look at the gradient I've added to the image to best illustrate what the sliders do. Here, we see the blue turquoise tint of the shadows, the orange tint of the mids, and here on the right, the turquoise green tint of the highlights. With the range slider on the color wheel for the shadows, we can set whether the color changes should affect the dark shadows, the mid shadows, or the lighter shadows. This same precise control applies to the range sliders for the mids and highlights. In addition, you can use the smoothness sliders to set the width of the respective area of influence. If you drag the smoothness slider to the right, you increase the width of the area of influence and thus create a smooth transition. If you move the smoothness slider to the left, you reduce the influence area for the corresponding color wheel. You can also see that the range sliders are moving closer together. When working with a small influence radius, the range slider plays an especially important role. Why? Because depending on the selected brightness setting, not all brightness ranges in the image are covered by the color wheels. This can cause the tints from the color wheel to be barely visible because the radius of influence is so small that it hits brightness values in the image that are barely present or, eventually, not present at all. Below each of the smoothness sliders are the saturation sliders, which you can use to control the saturation of the corresponding brightness ranges. Now we come to the absolute game changer. With this feature, you can do without masking in most cases, saving you a lot of time. When working with the color wheels, especially the mids, you can quickly destroy your skin tones. Now watch how easy it is to use the slider on the left side of the skin wheel to protect skin tones from the influence of the other wheels. In addition, you can edit skin tones separately using the control in the center of the wheel. This way, you have skin tones quickly under control without extra work. The further you move the control from the center, the stronger it influences the skin tones. Here, I slightly increase the saturation of the skin tones to let them pop out a bit more. You can readjust the skin tone brightness using the slider on the right. Since using this feature, I never had to mask skin tones again. For the final touch, I use the film contrast wheel. This feature creates a particularly harmonious contrast with a wide range of outputs, from the look and feel of analog film to the razor-sharp images of digital film cameras. You really must try this feature out for yourself and compare it to common contrast controls. It's a great look, isn't it? To apply the final result to the clip, I just closed the plugin. What do you think? Leave us a comment below. We are eager to hear your reactions. There are two more highlights of the plugin I want to show off. For this, we switch over to Photoshop and an image I have been working on. Since sky blue and plant green are very often key elements of creative image editing, Warping Wheels offers you dedicated wheels to edit them separately. By specifically controlling the blue and green tones via these new wheels, you can turn your images into real eye-catchers in just a few steps. To give the lawn and trees even more pop, I also increase the saturation of the mids, since grass green falls into this brightness range. Et voilà! You can compare the look at any time using the before and after button. If you don't want to apply the created look, you close the plugin via the X without applying the changes. I have to say, this look convinces me. To apply it to the photo now, I just close the plugin and I'm done with the color grading. Oh, one more little tip here at the end. Thanks to the skin tone protection feature, you don't always have to twist a lot of controls for professional color grading. Just experiment with the master wheel in combination with the skin tone wheel and you will create stunning looks in seconds. I hope this video motivates you to create great looks for your images. No need to hesitate, get started now with Warping Wheels and experience for yourself how much fun color grading can be.